Hello and welcome back, everyone, to all those who are listening live and to those who are watching it on video. My name is Oren Barr. I'm a physical therapist and I specialize in the treatment of chronic pain. And last time we talked about all these other factors that uh, um, are involved with chronic pain. Of course, when somebody is in pain all the time, it affects every aspect of their lives, from their social connections to their creativity to their activities, and of course food. And that's an important piece of the puzzle. And we have a special uh, guest here today, Alexis Robinson, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about how the role that food plays in chronic pain, and what she can do about it. So, without any further ado, let's uh, introduce Alexis over here. So join us. Have a seat.
Hello.
Thank you for
Hello, everyone.
thank you for coming and joining us. And so, tell us what is it that that you have observed with the chronic pain patients in terms of food and diet, and what can you do about it?
So as a person who's had migraines for a long time, that's kind of chronic pain also. You find that there's two sides to the same coin, really. I was more on the side of sometimes I would just eat because I'm in pain and I just want to feel better, so I'll grab some food and make you feel a little better. And a lot of people have that issue when they have chronic pain. It just helps make them feel better. You have some things that works in your brain, chemicals in your brain when you eat food, especially comfort food, stuff with high carbohydrates, and you're like, yes, this makes me feel so much better. But then there's also on the other side of the coin where there's people who lose their appetite, which honestly, even with migraines, sometimes you can't eat because you're laid in bed and you can't eat anything. So there's that part of the coin that you just don't want to eat. And then you go for days where you don't eat anything. And when you do eat something, it's never what you need. It's just something to put in your mouth that you have on the side. So usually that's also some carbohydrate heavy something or other. So um, in knowing that about myself, and when I see it in other people, I'm kind of, because I had that issue, I can also see where they have that issue too. Um, you One thing, especially if you overeat when you have chronic pain, you tend to gain a lot more weight because you're overeating basically to fill that void of pain. And when you do that, you're not exercising enough. And so you're gaining weight, and the weight that you gain can also exacerbate your pain. Now, migraines don't necessarily that happens to, but if you have like things with your joints in your knees or in your feet, or anything that could do with cardiovascular issues, those things, if you gain more weight, definitely get affected. And it doesn't help your pain at all. It makes it worse, along with the psychological that you can have behind eating so much, and you know you shouldn't eat it. And there's a whole gambit of things that you have to navigate. And the same thing goes for if you don't eat enough. Um, you're still in pain, so you're nearly not exercising. Your body's not getting the nutrition that it needs to help fight the pain. Or you're eating things that help make the inflammation that you may be having in certain places more. Especially if you have like fibromyalgia. What you eat in fibromyalgia makes a difference in what kind of pain experience you have. So if you're eating something that you know isn't good for you, but you still like it makes you feel better psychologically, it's still going to up your pain, and you're not exercising enough for that. I mean, a lot of people who don't, especially who don't eat, they lose a lot of their muscle mass and a lot of those things that they need to facilitate good health. So I help them, and they go through also psychological issues of not eating enough, and they both deal with people who think mean well, and well, you're eating too much or you're not eating enough, and trying to help you in doing that, which doesn't help the situation for you. So I help you kind of navigate all of that, how to navigate that some of that psychological things that you may feel and how to maybe make better choices if you're eating too much or if you're not eating enough.
Tell us practically, because I know people will say, yes, I know what you mean, what you're talking about, but I really don't know how to shop for nutritious food. I don't know, what to buy in the supermarket. Everything is, the media. You listen to the media, and everything is bad for you, and so on. So, how can you help somebody navigate, like specifically, getting nutritious food and getting the right amount?
Well, the first thing we need to do always is start where you are. I really, really, it's a pet peeve of mine that people have to make these sweeping changes over, and they're like, it overwhelms people. And if they're overwhelmed, they already got stuff that's overwhelming them. It's not going to help. So I like to walk people through. I'm like, well, let's see where you are now, and then we can go shopping. We can go to the store and we can look at things and say, well, okay, maybe this is a better choice versus this, but it'll still give you the same thing to a certain extent. So I don't mind. I love going to help people navigate the supermarket, because the supermarket is a real big pitfall of a bunch of stuff, because the supermarket is built for advertising. So they're advertising stuff to you. But you can definitely find stuff that's healthy for you, stuff that you need if you go in there, if someone helps you. And so I can help guide you through all of that.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm a strong believer in that, not to make big changes very quickly as well. I call it evolution, not revolution. And so thank you, Alexis. Now, how does somebody get in touch with you if they want to contact you directly to have you help them with their food?
Well, you can call me. My phone number is 914-770-6272. And I'll talk with you, and we can set up a time to meet and get to know one another. You can also check out my website that's scrolling on the bottom. It's pathways.now.site, and you can see like all the things that I've done, all the things that I do, and how I help people. And I really like to get to people so that they know me, I know them, and then we can really work at what we can do to make this lifestyle, because it's still going to be a lifestyle change for you, but how to make it fit into the lifestyle that you're already living, instead of making it so big that you won't stick with it, because we really want you to stick with it, and we want you to get well, which is why we also have, when we come to Rebalancing Health, so that they can help you with that chronic pain and getting that together, and then also we can have with the food also that partner together. So that is what I do. That is what Mr. Oren Barr does, and thank you for having me on to help get to that part of chronic pain. Like he said, there's other things that people deal with even when they're in pain, and food happens to be a big one that a lot of people don't talk about or they feel ashamed to talk about. So thank you again, and hope to see you next time.